Free Disneyland Lightning Lanes, hotel rule changes, and the best park shortcuts around. These are the Disneyland secrets you need to track down and incorporate during your next West Coast trip. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now, I'm not going to hold you here long. I know you're ready to dive right into the best Disneyland secrets, so get ready for back-to-back hidden Disneyland gems that they're going to make your family go, how did you learn about that? And then they'll go and crown you as the MVP of the whole trip. #goals. Let's get this out of the way first. Planning a vacation for Disneyland isn't nearly as strenuous as planning a vacation for Disney World. Sure, you got the dining reservations to make and the lightning lanes to figure out and the whole thing to pay for, but because the Disneyland bubble is pretty contained, once you're on property, you can reach everything without any extra transportation necessary. Resorts, shopping district, both parks, it's all right there. Meaning park hopping is super easy on the West Coast. If you want to learn more about the planning differences between Disney World and Disneyland, and you want to start chiseling out the mainframe for your next Disneyland vacation, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or click on the link in the description for our free PDF. That's 3 perfect days in Disneyland, and it's disneyfoodblog.com/Disneyland plans. That's the link you're going to want to click after this, and we'll send you that free PDF. So while Disneyland might be easier to traverse, Disney World definitely has more resort options for you to choose from that fit a range of different vacation budgets. Meanwhile, all 3 of Disneyland's hotels are priced at the deluxe resort level, so it's not uncommon for even the standard room prices to put you back like $500 or $600 a night. But fear not, you do not have to pay those Disneyland hotel prices to still find a room super close to the parks. Good Neighbor hotels partner with Disney but aren't owned by Disney to give you a cheaper hotel stay that's still nearby and still totally great. And several Good Neighbor hotels are even within walking distance to the parks and downtown Disney. But even those that aren't will have the Anaheim Resort Transportation System available, which guests can use for an extra fee to take them to and from the hotel and parks. And since we're already talking about hotels, let's talk about a new Disneyland hotel rule that's going to be implemented in 2026. Starting January 5th, there will be no more early morning entries. Currently, guests staying at one of the Disneyland-owned hotels can enter one of the parks 30 minutes early to snag some extra park time before the entire thing opens for the public. But that is no longer going to be an additional hotel perk in the future. Instead, guests will receive 1 lightning lane per person per stay. No extra purchase necessary. This lightning lane will be part of Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and help you skip over the main queue for most rides, excluding Radiator Springs Racers in Disney California Adventure and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance in Disneyland. Now, you'll only receive 1 free lightning lane for your whole stay. So if you want more than that, you will need to pay for Multi-Pass. But it is nice to see that even though early morning entry is going away, Disney isn't going to leave us completely empty-handed, I guess. Another new Disneyland rule, reservations are no longer required for Oga's Cantina. So Oga's Cantina has been a popular bar ever since it opened back in 2019, and you can find it at both the Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland and the one in Hollywood Studios too. But the biggest difference between them, aside from the fact Disneyland's version has a garlic cheese 5 blossom bread with spicy cheese sauce that I'm obsessed with, is that Hollywood Studios' version still lets you make advanced dining reservations, and Disneyland's version got rid of theirs on August 19th. So now it's all walk-up availability and traditional standby queues only. Do you want the good news or the bad news? Too late. I'm starting with the bad to get it out of the way. The Pixar Place Hotel has an additional entrance into Disney California Adventure, but this entrance will not be available indefinitely starting January 5th as Disney California Adventure continues to work on new construction and projects coming to the park. More specifically, this is around the area where the new Coco boat ride is being added, which is set to break ground next year. The good news, though, is that those of you who are staying at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel next year, or even just paying it a visit, will be able to use the hotel entrance that leads you directly into Disney California Adventure, spitting you out in the middle of Grizzly Peak, and you're going to be able to use that no matter what, just as long as you've got a park ticket handy. The next time you go to Disneyland, you can meet Walt Disney. Sort of. Actually, you can meet the animatronic version of Walt during the new Walt Disney A Magical Life show on Main Street, USA, but I'll take it. It's not just the show you're going to want to come to see, though. The Main Street Opera House, where A Magical Life takes place, is also hosting an exhibit featuring the evolution of Walt Disney's dream of Disneyland. Here, you're going to be able to explore displays at your leisure, featuring never-before-seen images, art, and artifacts from before, during, and after Walt's dream became a reality. If this one's already making your eyebrow quirk, just you wait, it gets weirder. There's a new trash system over at Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree inside Disneyland Park, and it's, well, I've never really seen anything like it, to be honest with you, except maybe at Tokyo Disney. When you grab your food, you'll notice there's a new holder nearby for these things called food scrapers. The instructions say to eat and enjoy your food, and then fill your food scraper with leftover food scraps, then place it in the appropriate bin. Everything else is the same as normal until you go to throw away your food. That's when you'll notice there's a new trash can that tells you it's for food only. You do need to return your scrap scoop after you're done with it, and you'll find the scoop return bin right beside the scraps trash can. Okay, why do we never talk about this secret ever? It is so magical. Inside the queue of Peter Pan's Flight, on the left-hand side if you're facing the ride straight on, you're going to come across this bronzed lantern with a sparkly little second star to the right emblem on the front. And if you download the free Play Disney Parks app and play the Peter Pan's Flight mission, you can actually activate this lantern and get Tinkerbell to materialize inside of it. When you get to the part of the mission that asks if you're next to the second star on the right, press yes when you're close to the lantern. Side note, this secret effect is even cooler to see at night because that's when the pixie dust around her lantern is all the more vibrant. So if you like that Tinkerbell secret, just you wait, because this next surprise character reveal is even easier to activate. All it involves is you being in the right place at the right time. So inside the Mad Hatter's shop next to the Alice in Wonderland Dark Ride in Fantasyland, you're going to find hats and tiaras and mini ears aplenty, but you're also sometimes going to find a sneaky, disappearing feline peering out at you. Just take a look inside the mirror above the register. When it starts glowing, that's when a familiar smiling face will mysteriously appear. To be fair, Disney rides are fun day or night, but if you want the best experiences on some of these attractions with clearer special effects, the illusion of heightened speeds, and overall top-tier vibes, here are the attractions you're going to want to return to after the sun sets. In Disneyland, Astro Orbiter will give you gorgeous views of Sleeping Beauty Castle illuminated at night. Haunted Mansion's updated outdoor queue is all the eerier when you weave around it at night. Mad Tea Party has gorgeous colorful lanterns that start glowing when it's dark out. And Big Thunder Mountain Railroad special explosion effects are way easier to see against the dark. Meanwhile, in Disney California Adventure, the Golden Zephyr, Pixar Pal Around, and Symphony Swings make you feel like you're at a summer carnival looking out across a sea of bright lights and shimmering waters. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout has the best nighttime vibes. Not only does the tower glow with pulses of electricity and the elevator doors open to peer out across that lit up DCA park, but everyone seems to have that second wind at this point in the night that makes the energy way higher and way more fun. Much like Big Thunder, the tunnel effects that you're going to see during the Incredicoaster ride are way more prominent when you ride this one at night. And Radiator Springs Racer's outdoor section illuminates that waterfall that you drive past, making it all the more breathtaking. I love that part of that ride. So if you could change World of Color's fate, would you? In honor of Disneyland's 70th anniversary, which kicked off back in May and will keep going until summer 2026, a new World of Color show made its debut in Disney California Adventure. World of Color Happiness is inspired by Walt Disney's famous words on opening day, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome," and features fountains and unique lighting and colorful lasers and fog and dramatic flame effects, all while showcasing your favorite Disney and Pixar films, like Turning Red, The Incredibles, A Goofy Movie, Tangled, Encanto, and more. Now, during the show, the emotion of happiness is explored, and it is fittingly hosted by none other than Joy and her fellow emotions from Inside Out and Inside Out 2. So here's where the whole change the fate element of the show comes into play. Before the first World of Color performance of the evening, you can vote for which emotion, either sadness, anger, disgust, or envy, will get a special spotlight that night. You just have to make sure you have the Disneyland app already downloaded and push notifications turned on. Another fun activity that's also going on during Disneyland's 70th anniversary celebration is free souvenirs. Well, free as long as you've purchased a MagicBand Plus first. I guess free is kind of a loose term here, as it usually is at Disney. Regardless, still cool. As part of the Disneyland year-long celebration, you can set out on a quest to collect vintage-style Disneyland tickets around the park. All you gotta do is scan your MagicBand Plus where prompted, and a ticket will be yours for the taking. Now, humor me real fast. Open your Disneyland app and type fortune tellers into the search bar. What do you find? Because what pops up on my end is not just one fortune teller in Disneyland, but two. You can find two different nostalgic style automation fortune teller booths inside Disneyland Park, and this is one of my favorite elements of this park. I remember doing a video of this and putting it up on Instagram like, I don't know, 60 years ago, right? I love these guys. Anyway, the first is Esmeralda, who hangs out in the Penny Arcade on Main Street, USA. And the second is Fortune Red, who's tucked away behind the Pieces of Eight shop in New Orleans Square. Once upon a time, it did cost a quarter for these fortune tellers to bestow a fortune upon you, but now all you need to do is open up the Play Disney Parks app. Each day you visit, you can collect one fortune and a piece of the fortune teller's story through the Play Disney Parks app. No purchase necessary. So stop walking past the Main Street USA window displays. Not only are they cute and interactive and depict popular Disney and Pixar animated scenes. Now, okay, really quick, we're not talking about the windows that have Imagineers' names and stuff like that on them. Those are up above. We're talking about the store windows, the shop windows, okay? Okay, now that we're clear. They're also frequently switching these up so that you can see new displays playing out all the time. For example, a Zootopia window was recently added to the lineup this summer, replacing the Cinderella scene that used to be here. You can find Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps skating around the streets of Little Rodentia underneath the illuminated gifts sign right outside the main Emporium shop. Okay, now we're going to talk about the other kind of windows, but not all of them, just one of them. On July 13th, 2025, which would have been Walt Disney and Lillian Disney's 100th wedding anniversary, a new Main Street window was unveiled with a script that reads Lily's Bountiful Blooms to honor Lillian's memory and the lasting impact she made on Disneyland alongside Walt. To find this window, right when you enter the park, take a right past the American flagpole and head toward the Disney Showcase shop. You there? Awesome. Now look up and to the right. You'll see the window peeking out behind a little ornate balcony, looking as dapper can be. My wish for you is that you'll always find a way to order Disneyland's classic New Orleans Square Monte Cristo sandwich at its cheapest price point. It's not always a possibility, but as of late, it's once again a reality. In case you're not familiar with the Monte Cristo subject, this is a savory sandwich gone sweet, filled with ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, all between slices of egg bread that's been dusted with powdered sugar and served with a side of preserves. Normally, you can order a Monte Cristo from Cafe Orleans table service all day, or from the themed Blue Bayou restaurant for lunch only. But this is going to run you between $26 and $34 depending on where you order it and what version you order. Blue Bayou is always going to be your most expensive, by the way. However, sometimes a quick service version of the classic Monte Cristo will become available at New Orleans Square's Royal Street Veranda. And whenever this version is there, it's going to cost you only $14 instead, and it's just as good. So Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is a dress-up experience where kids ages 3 to 12 can get a practically perfect royal makeover, from their hair to their makeup to their outfit. You know, the works. Boutique prices do vary depending on the package you choose, but there's one thing that's about to come along with each and every package price. The one and only Fairy Godmother is now at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at both Disney World and Disneyland for rare one-on-one meet and greet opportunities. So step aside, Cinderella. You already got your glass slippers and pumpkin carriage. Now it's the kids' turn. Ooh, where to find the best Disney World popcorn in Disneyland. Yep, I said what I said. Some of Disney World's best popcorn can now be found in Disneyland. Downtown Disney, that is. At the start of 2025, Downtown Disney opened up their brand new Wonderful World of Sweets, which replaced Marceline's confectionery shop that was here before. This new sweet shop continues to serve classic Disneyland treats like churro toffee, yum, decked out caramel apples, Mickey Rice Krispie treats, marshmallow ones, sour balls, lollipops, you name it. But our new favorite reason to stop by here is to grab a fresh bag of Werther's Original Caramel Popcorn, which has always been a favorite of ours over in Epcot's Caramel Kusha shop. So we're glad to have it available over on the West Coast now, too. So I'm just being dramatic. Disney World didn't abandon Tinkerbell per se. You can still see her flittering around inside Peter Pan's flight and flying down from the castle during Happily Ever After. You just can't meet and greet with her anymore in Disney World, at least not at the time of this recording. However, Disneyland has recently brought back their Tinkerbell meet and greet after she went AWOL for nearly a year. Tinkerbell returned to her rightful place in Pixie Hollow on June 29th, 2025, giving you the chance to not only chit-chat with this mischievous Tinker Fairy, but also check out her different tinkering items, like needles and thread, springs and acorns that feel larger than life. So I've got not one, but 3 Lamplight Lounge secrets to share with y'all, so I'll make them super speedy. First thing you need to know, you don't technically need to book a reservation for this Disney California Adventure Lounge to order a drink from here. To get Lamplight's to-go drinks, you'll need to skip the entrance of this place and head over to the boardwalk dining area, which is on the back side of this lounge, past those white gates. This is where you're going to find Lamplight's outdoor bar, which you can either stay at and sit for a spell or or grab your boozy beverages from while you're still on the go. And yes, this is the old Cove Bar back when Lamplight Lounge was actually Ariel's grotto. Now, my second tip from Lamplight Lounge is that the theming is already on point with all the Pixar animation decor, but if you want to feel really special while you're here, you might someday find yourself lucky enough to be invited into the office. This is a dining space that fits about a dozen or so people, so it's typically used for larger groups. But you don't need a secret membership or anything to get into this hush-hush room. You might even be able to ask and see if it's available during your next visit. Even if the answer is no, which there's a high chance it will be, a cast member might still be able to give you a quick tour of the office so you can see what's really going on behind that secret vault. And my final Lamplight Lounge tip, although there are so many more, the secret drink menu. Super special office room or not, everyone who knows about Lamplight Lounge's secret boozy drink menu will be able to order off of it. This has been a long time Lamplight Lounge / Cove Bar secret, harking back to even before Lamplight Lounge was ever a thing. So for a lot of Cali locals, these off-menu options aren't all that big of a secret anymore. But if you're an out-of-towner and you want to know which secret drinks are available for you to order, try asking for options like the Fun Wheel. This is a twist on your everyday Long Island, thanks to the fun blue and yellow layered colors. This one's so pretty! And pineapple passion fruit flavoring. Neverland Tea is also a Long Island-inspired one, but this one's more green and more peachy. And the Sea Witch, perhaps one of the prettiest secret drink options on the menu that's very fruity and gives off major Jolly Rancher vibes. Now, there are a bunch of other secret menu drinks. We've talked about them on the channel a bajillion times, so I'm not going to list them all off for you again, but it's basically, the zombie, the Melrose Place, etc. We definitely have them on the blog. You can check it out, and I'll do some short form around it pretty soon, too, over on Instagram. Your kid's first ride on Dumbo the Flying Elephant might be a major milestone you want to document, but it might be tricky to get a picture while in motion. Fortunately, Disney's got a solution. Behind the attraction is a replica Dumbo gondola that stays completely stationary, meaning you can get a great picture of the kids without all the blurry faces spinning by. Okay, you know what's not a secret in Disneyland? The food is really good. So much so that certain snack locations can get super packed and the lines can be longer there than at the rides. That's why it is so nice to know that mobile order via the Disneyland app isn't solely a quick service thing anymore. Mobile order is also available at certain popular snack windows, and you need to use it. One of the most recent additions to the mobile order club is adorable snowman frosted treats in California Adventure, a Pixar Pier snack kiosk that kickstarted their mobile order services on August 10th. So now, before you commit to a Disneyland snack, check and see if their location has mobile order available, because if it does, you'll be able to order those coveted snacks through the app and pick them up at a special mobile order window instead of waiting in an unnecessarily super long line. Disneyland might not have as many character dining experiences as Disney World, but they still have a decent handful of them. And some of these character dining experiences switch up depending on when you make reservations. So Goofy's Kitchen in Disneyland Hotel and Storyteller's Cafe in Grand Californian are the two character dining experiences that like to really switch up decor and menus along with the holidays. But what we're most excited for this year is the brand new character dining experience coming to Storytellers this holiday season. Daisy's Holiday Pajama Party will be returning during breakfast and brunch around Christmas time, but when the dinner bell chimes, that's when the brand new Mickey's Christmas Carol Feast comes out to play, featuring Mickey, Minnie, Scrooge McDuck, Goofy, who, by the way, is going to be dressed as Jacob Marley Goofy, which you never, ever get to see, and Clarabelle in their Mickey's Christmas Carol attire. I'm sorry, I don't remember Clarabelle being part of Mickey's Christmas Carol, but whatevs. We will let her join the party regardless. She is my favorite. Okay, this one's kind of like mobile order. It's not a secret, it's just everybody skips it. Truth be told, you rarely ever have to pay full asking price for a Disneyland trip, and that's thanks to the offers and discounts page found on the Disneyland website. These savings and promotions opportunities switch up regularly, but often feature discounts on things like park tickets and Disney-owned hotels. So never book a Disneyland trip without looking to see if you can land it for 10, 20, or even 40% or more cheaper than what it would normally cost with rack rates. I'll tell you what, Every time I meet someone who watches our videos or reads our blog, the thing I hear the most is that we saved them a lot of money. And this is how, because we're telling you about these discounts that are available. They're right there. We don't get a kickback from this at all. It's just, dudes, don't spend this much money if you don't have to. Okay, there's kind of a misconception about whether coolers are or are not allowed in the Disneyland parks. So let's go ahead and clear the confusion real quick. Coolers are allowed in the parks just as long as they're less than 24 inches long, 15 inches wide, and 18 inches high. So things like a nice insulated lunchbox or one of those insulated corksicle bags would still get the green light for you. If you bring a little cooler, just keep in mind that you won't be able to fill it up with loose ice. But you can bring those reusable cooling gel packs or request a cup of ice if you need it over at one of the quick services. One of our favorite souvenirs to get in Magic Kingdom and Disney World is a hand-cut silhouette from Main Street USA. It's unique, it's personalized, it's very affordable. Now, the good news for all the Disneylanders, you can get hand-cut silhouettes from Disneyland's Main Street USA too, because of course you can. Allow me to direct your attention to a little Main Street USA souvenir shop called Disneyana. This is a place that sells one-of-a-kind works of art and limited edition pieces. And yes, that includes hand-cut silhouettes too. Keep in mind that the price varies depending on your requests, and you can purchase the portrait framed or unframed. But on average, these one-of-a-kind pictures tend to range from $12 to $15. Amazing! Some Disneyland breakfast spots are a little more outspoken than others, but if you want some breakfast options that are way more under the radar and yet still up to that Disneyland standard we know and love, consider checking these out during your next visit. First, breakfast cheesy pretzel. Doesn't that just sound brilliant? Over in Fantasyland, you'll find Maurice's Treats off the beaten path, and trust me, you'll want to find it because this is where the sizable breakfast cheesy pretzel lives. 2, the new Trader Sam's breakfast. So recently, Trader Sam's released a brand new breakfast menu available from 8 to 11 a.m. daily that all you breakfast fans out there are not going to want to miss. And 3, the breakfast chimichangas. Classic chimichangas are a Disneyland staple, but the breakfast versions are more of a rarity around these parts. If you're looking for the breakfast chimichanga that's served in the morning, head on over to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad snack cart for a chimichanga stuffed full of classic bacon, egg, and cheese. Ready for the big race through Cars Land? You will be. Towards the end of Radiator Springs Racers, right before your thrilling side-by-side race against the other car full of guests traveling next to you, which I never, ever win for some reason, you'll enter through one of 2 scenes. You'll either be sent to Luigi's for new tires or be sent to Ramon's for detailing. No matter which scene you get to experience here, both will wind you up in the exact same place, at the starting line. Look at all those Disney characters on the loose. If your favorite thing about going to the Disney parks is meeting the characters, then Disneyland is a goldmine for meet and greet opportunities. And I'm not just talking about the stationary meet and greet locations. Characters roam these parks a lot, so you never know who you might run into during your next park visit. While not every free roaming character will be listed on the Disneyland app, lots of them will be. In fact, roaming characters may be listed on the map right at the start of the day just to show you who you can expect to see, even if they're not planning on meeting and greeting with guests until a couple of hours into your park day. It's a great way to make sure you know if there's someone you want to meet. So it doesn't matter what time of year you're going to Disneyland. Winter, spring, summer, fall, exclusive snacks are released all the time. Several Disneyland locations rotate out seasonal offerings on their menus, which is great because that means there's a high chance that there's going to be something brand new for you to try the next time you visit. But it also means you're going to want to keep a close eye on these menus because if there's an item you may have really wanted to try, it could be gone by the time you get there. Disneyland will normally list on the top of their online menus if a sweet or savory option is going to be around as a seasonal offering. That way you won't be left guessing whether or not a certain snack might or might not be available. And of course, we'll keep you updated on Disneyland's seasonal snack offerings too through our free DFB newsletter. You can join that anytime. There's a link in the description for this video to sign up, and it's super useful. Just because an attraction does or does not have a lightning lane at the moment doesn't mean that's always going to be the case. Take Pirates of the Caribbean as a really good example. This one goes back and forth. Sometimes it doesn't have a lightning lane, other times, especially when the park is entering into a busy season, or another one of those major attractions is undergoing refurbishment, it'll have lightning lanes up and available. This is just a friendly reminder to double, triple, quadruple check on those lightning lanes leading up to your visit so that you know which ones you'll be able to grab during the day and which ones you'll need to plan to wait in a standby line for. So it won't be too long before this Disney California adventure secret is nothing but a memory. But let's talk about it regardless so that you can try to check it out before it's gone for good. Over at Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue, you can get the rare honor of becoming Screamer of the Day. Doesn't sound like a compliment, but it is, and you'll be highly rewarded for that title. To become Screamer of the Day, you got to get over to this ride as soon as you possibly can. We're talking rope drop or earlier if you can manage it. And if you're one of the first people in line for the day, your chances of earning this rather odd title will significantly increase. Now, one of our team members actually got Screamer of the Day recently, and he was really dedicated to wanting to get Screamer of the Day. He went in one morning wearing his Monsters Inc. t-shirt and didn't get Screamer of the Day. And so he went in the next morning with his Monsters Inc. t-shirt, his big Sully hat, and I believe his Sully tail as well. And then he got Screamer of the Day. So if you want to kind of take that as a guideline, there you go. And what happens if you do get chosen as Screamer of the Day? Well, you first get to sign your name in this special little book. You'll also get to be the very first person on the attraction that day, meaning you'll be led by a cast member through the queue and up to the very front, along with the rest of your group, to ride the ride before everyone else gets the chance to. And if all that wasn't cool enough, you'll also get a free lightning lane that you can use to skip over the bulk of the ride line again one more time later in the day. Just remember, you'll only have until early 2026 to be Screamer of the Day before this attraction permanently closes to make way for the new Avatar Land opening at a later date. Time for another classic Disneyland secret that you can go and impress your friends and family with. Before Walt Disney, A Magical Life was ever a thing, Walt Disney was still giving his classic speech in Disneyland Park over in New Orleans Square. It's just always been a little less conventional. You hear that click over by the New Orleans Square train station? That's the sound of a telegraph typing out a message in Morse code, and that message translates to a portion of Walt Disney's speech that he gave on the opening day of Disneyland. Tom Sawyer Island might be long gone at Magic Kingdom, but it's still going strong at Disneyland Park, for now. And much like the Tom Sawyer Island that used to be in good old Magic Kingdom, there's still dark and slightly spooky caves hiding out in the Disneyland version that very few people seem to know about. If you take a raft ride to Tom Sawyer Island and find the cave over at Dead Man's Grotto, you'll be able to explore dark and dreary passages that have got some cool effects and interactive elements for a bit of added fun. You might even find that some of these features are a bit haunted. Want a less creepy cave to explore? Head inside the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail in Disney California Adventure. This is full of activities that your kids won't have to wait in long lines to check out. But inside the Hidden Kenai's Spirit Cave along this trail is where you're going to be able to learn what exactly your true spirit animal is. From, a selection of 7. Just place your hand on the glowing paw print and let the cave work its spirit magic to reveal your animal within. It might be an illusion, but it's an illusion that works, and all you need to do is find the Big Thunder Mountain goat. On the second lift hill of the coaster, find the goat that's standing innocently on a boulder with a not-so-innocent stick of dynamite in his mouth, and if you keep an eye on this little guy until you lose sight of him, it'll make your ride through feel way more intense. I don't know, just try it. Let me know in the comments what you think. There are so many Easter eggs and puns and interactive elements wrapping around Disneyland's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway line that you're never going to see over in the Hollywood Studios version of this attraction. So keep your eyes open as you weave around the El Capitan Theater and see how many you can find while you wait. Here are a few of our favorite secrets for you to find just to get the ball rolling. First, take a look at those movie posters. Each one is a reimagined and Disney-fied version of classic movies and musicals. 2, there are several underrated shorts highlighted throughout this queue, but I absolutely adore the holiday scene that represents the Pluto's Christmas Tree episode, right down to the Santa candles. And 3, okay, one more, and this one's a big one. When you get to the Fantasia section of this queue, that's when things start to get even more immersive. Keep an eye on Sorcerer Mickey's costume for a magical surprise. Oh, wait, I lied. Now it's one more. If you've ever watched the Lonesome Ghost short from back in 1937, starring Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and 3 ghostly pranksters, then the mirror and vanity inside Runaway Railway with the clothes spilling out of the drawers might look familiar to you. And every now and then, a ghostly apparition will appear in the mirror and make faces at you, or even blow air to make the propeller on the plane up above spin around. This is probably my favorite little Easter egg in this line. So I'd consider this a DFB Disneyland vault tip because it's one of those tips that I bring up in our other Disneyland videos just because I know I'd want someone to warn me about this ahead of time if I didn't know it was a thing. Disneyland's castle shows don't always feature fireworks. During slower seasons, like at the beginning of the year, castle shows might only have fireworks on certain nights, just castle projections minus the fireworks on other nights. You're going to want to check the Disneyland events calendar online before your visit to see what's going to be available when you're there. On a similar note, Fantasmic also has an interesting schedule you'll need to be aware of. So if Fantasmic is a priority experience for you, let me emphasize this, check the Disneyland calendar. Yep, I do indeed have a favorite Disneyland Easter egg, and it's the Little Man of Disneyland. The Little Man of Disneyland's name is Patrick Pagora, and he made his first appearance not in the Disneyland park, but in one of the Disney Little Golden Books, which according to Disney was published the same year Disneyland opened. I actually have this little golden book, and it's basically a book that Disney put out to make it okay that they were tearing down all these orange groves to build a theme park. Anyway, Patrick is a leprechaun who now spends his days in an itty-bitty house at the base of a tree in Disneyland, near the entrance of the Indiana Jones adventure. Do you see it? It's right over there. The Little Man of Disneyland is basically Disneyland's personal fairy garden, but the leprechaun version of that. He's got a teeny tiny door and a teeny tiny window and a teeny tiny smokestack and a teeny tiny porch light. Now he just needs a teeny tiny pool or something to keep him cool on those hot California days. Patrick is very proud of his little home, so much so that he likes to decorate for all the holidays. Around Halloween, Pat will put out jack-o'-lanterns. For Christmas, he'll deck the tree with his own boughs of holly. And for St. Patty's Day, he'll add extra touches of green, although I don't think anyone's going to be pinching him anytime soon. Okay, just kidding. I have two favorite hidden gems, but my next favorite hidden gem is in Disney California Adventure, and it's a whole lot carbier. Is carbier a word? No, it's not a word, but I'm going to make a word today. The bakery tour is housed over in the San Francisco area, and it's a working replica of San Francisco's very own Boudin Bakery. From 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, times are subject to change as always, you can take a self-guided and complimentary tour to witness the process behind making these famous San Francisco sourdough breads, including the Mickey-shaped ones. Plus, you'll get a free fresh bread sample while you're there, which will probably encourage you to purchase a full sourdough bakery loaf in the shape of Mickey or Baymax after the fact. Just saying. Sure, you don't need to take any extra Disneyland transportation to help you get around, but you might want to anyways. The Disneyland Monorail connects downtown Disney to Tomorrowland in Disneyland Park, making it a great way to bypass the Main Street USA crowds that are bottlenecking the paths first thing in the morning. The downtown Disney Monorail station is located near the Disneyland Hotel and a little further away from the main Esplanade, and it usually doesn't get too crowded even first thing in the morning. But heads up that the monorail won't run when it's too hot, so make sure you check to be sure that the monorail is actually running. And we're all about cutting down our ride wait times while also saving a buck or two, which is why using the free single rider lines for select Disneyland attractions can end up being a very, very good secret. Single rider queues are available in Disneyland for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Matterhorn Bobsleds, and Space Mountain. Single rider queues are also in DCA for Goofy Sky School, Incredicoaster, Radiator Springs Racers, Grizzly River Run, Web Slingers, A Spider-Man Adventure, and Soarin' Around the World. Just keep in mind that single rider queues are subject to availability and don't guarantee you a shorter wait time, but on those days when the parks are ultra busy, it never hurts to try it out. There's more to Disneyland Sleeping Beauty Castle than just being the older and smaller comparison to Magic Kingdom's Cinderella Castle. For instance, you might have to pay the big bucks to spend some time in Cinderella Castle, since the main thing to do over there is eat at Cinderella's royal table. But inside Sleeping Beauty Castle, you've got the totally free Sleeping Beauty walkthrough experience that you know I love, that tells the tale of Princess Aurora through animated 3D window scenes. Now, you don't even have to wait in an uber-long queue line to experience this one. A lot of people don't even know it's there, and most Disneyland visitors have already seen it. So it's not something that they're going to go to every single time they're in Disneyland. But it's a great way to kind of get out of the crowds and get out of the heat and just enjoy an old school Disneyland attraction. So this is not a Disneyland specific tip, but if you're flying into the area to head to Disneyland in the future, then let me give you some solid airport advice that also comes from the Disneyland natives in our DFB group. When you first start looking at flights, the initial airport that's going to pop up for you is more than likely going to be the main one, the massive one, the busy and bustling and overwhelming LAX. But if I could recommend an alternative airport option for you, you might want to start looking for flights that arrive into John Wayne Airport, which is SNA, instead. Not only is SNA much smaller and easier to navigate, but it's also way closer to Disneyland. From LAX, Disneyland's about a 40-minute drive. From SNA, it's only 15. Granted, LAX will probably be a cheaper flight option for you, which may be why you ultimately choose the bigger airport instead. But if you don't mind paying a little extra for less stress and more convenience, then SNA is definitely the one you want to choose. I personally fly into SNA every single time because it means I can stay at Disneyland a whole lot later than I could stay at Disneyland if I were flying out of LAX, because the ride over to SNA is just like I said, 15 minutes, and there's never any waits for security or anything, so it's just real easy to breeze on in right before your flight leaves. The Magic Key Terrace is hiding out above Wine Country Trattoria or Trattoria. I never know how to pronounce that. Please let me know in the comments. Is it Trattoria or Trattoria in Disney California Adventure? But reservations for this relaxing getaway can only be made by Magic Key holders, which is Disneyland's annual pass holder program. That being said, Magic Key holders are allowed to bring up to 6 non-pass holder guests along with them if they'd like extra company. That way you can all knock off this bucket list item and experience those chill vibes, those good drinks, the shareable appetizers, which are always really good, and awesome views of Cars Land. Now, you might not have realized this before, but Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Alice in Wonderland Ride, both in Fantasyland, are actually in the same building, like some sort of freaky classic attraction tower. According to the D23 website, Alice in Wonderland was Disneyland's first 2-level ride-through attraction, but due to spatial constraints, Alice had to be built on top of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So why does this matter? Well, I mean, for starters, it's a cool fun fact, and I'm all about those. But secondly, whenever you enter the room of the card soldiers while riding Alice in Wonderland, you might wonder why it's really, really hot up there. But that's because the heat from Mr. Toad's hell scene is rising, causing the poor card soldiers to get kind of roasty toasty. Okay, and this is one of my favorite tips, so I am so glad that you are here still watching this video with me. Disney California Adventure hosts 3 different festivals during the year, right? And each of these festivals brings limited time entertainment and demonstrations, and most importantly, food. You're gonna find lots of different exclusive food booths during these events, but instead of going up to each booth individually and waiting in line to pay for your items one by one the way you have to do in Disney World, you can order and pay for all the festival items that you want in one transaction. Just choose a booth, any booth, preferably the one with the shortest line, and order all the items you want to try from the festival once you get up to the register, from any booth. The cast member taking your order will print out a receipt of all the items you ordered. Then all you have to do is bring your receipt over to each respective booth and pick up your items without having to wait in the payment queue. It is a brilliant idea. I do not know why Disney World doesn't do this. It doesn't make any sense to me at all why they don't. But alas, hopefully someday they will take the hint. And Finding Nemo's submarine voyage, that's not for everyone. And for those who can't navigate the narrow steps down into the submarine, or who don't want to ride an attraction where you feel like a canned sardine the whole time, there's a secret place where you can still watch the voyage unfold. To find it, head to the end of the dock and over to the observation outpost. There, you can watch a high-definition live feed video version of this voyage via the submarine's onboard subcam. Okay, hopefully you feel super prepared and filled to the brim with a ton of Disneyland knowledge that you maybe didn't have before. But if you want to keep on learning all things Disneyland, be sure to check out one of our other Disneyland videos next. We've got a whole playlist of them. One of my favorites is the 50 things everyone should eat in Disneyland. And don't forget to download the 3 perfect days in Disneyland. That's our free guide for you over at disneyfoodblog.com/Disneyland plans. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.